one. We are live, and we're back for another of our usual every 2 weeks, but we've had a bit of hiatus due to various issues. Today's game is Beneath the Oresa, and keep up the pressure. But yeah, today we are mostly going to probably discuss the Thunderbolts, because some bits whether or not we haven't watched it, so we don't know much about the game, about the film yet. And I'm going to generally look at news as what's happening in gaming as well. I actually have, Jax.
No, you've done research. The horror.
It's not that. I have. My browser is open. Remembered something that I forgot to do about my browser.
Clear the history?
No, turn the sounds off.
Ah.
But, it's like I was looking at, it's because, so, we're going to try a new segment at the end of this, which is upcoming releases, and see what's coming out this month for video games as well, since we both play games. But, first, let's discuss not elephant in the room, but the slight annoying thing about a certain film that I believe we both want to go see, because I don't think either of us have seen yet.
Nope. But yeah, Thunderbolts came out with the asterisk, and everyone's been sort of, ever since it had that weird asterisk, everyone's kind of been asking, what does that mean? What does it mean? What are we going to get? And in speculation, a couple of people were right about the speculation. But due to the nature of how fast things go around in media, and
the modern world.
We're not allowed to have any kind of fun if you don't go and see a movie on day one.
Yeah.
We know what the asterisk is now. So spoilers alert for anyone that hasn't actually seen it or hasn't managed to see any news online.
Yeah, if you watch this.
The group get a name change. A rather significant name change. Throughout it. Which is kind of a spoiler for things that are happening. Instead of just keeping it to the movie and to internet trolls just trying to spoil stuff for everyone that you can sort of avoid.
Yeah, they have made it so that studios are now changing the name of, not studios, but a lot of cinemas are changing the name of the film as it's being shown to the spoiler, and it's...
Yeah. So the new name of the group, mostly this has been happening in America, apparently it's not really happening here until next week, apparently, as I've just been told. But yeah, so a lot of the posters are changing over from the Thunderbolts poster to their new name, and all the merchandise and buckets and things you're going to start seeing are actually going to be in two waves, being a Thunderbolt wave and a new named wave. And it's of it's a big spoiler. It takes away a bit from what you're going there to watch, really.
Yeah, being the fact that they changed the name from Thunderbolts to a spoiler from it. I don't want to say the spoiler because for people that haven't,
no.
But if you already know it, you know what we're on about. You know that they're changing the name. It's a smart, in some senses, it is a smart decision to do it. Not gonna lie, but because it's the name that it's going to be when it's revealed on Disney Plus when the DVDs come out. It's not going to be called Thunderbolts #star. It's going to be called what it's called by the end of the film.
Yeah, I mean it will be. But like I say, it's one of the last vestiges you have is the advertising not screwing stuff over for you, and now it is. And yeah, like I say, most people are going to end up hearing what it is just because they're trying to watch stuff online, and it's there. And especially in America, if you walk past the cinema or any advertising, it's there. But yeah, it's not a fun thing. It's kind of like with my problem with the Red Hulk in
the Captain America bit
Brave New World.
In Brave New Worlds,
that should have been a surprise. That shouldn't have been advertising.
That really shouldn't have been in all the marketing. I don't think. I do agree. It should have been the thing in the background. Just it's that we find out after the movie.
And I think the same goes with this. It doesn't need to be advertising. It can just be a nice thing for the people that go into the cinemas to see it. I also get why they're doing it. The name in particular is going to invoke a lot of people to come back.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have gone to see it otherwise. But I don't know.
Yeah. We will see.
That being said,
it is an interesting thing.
yeah, but that being said, I was reminded the other day about a fantastic storyline we could come close to seeing with everything that's happening in the Marvel Universe, in which, for whatever reason, the Thunderbolts, as in the team we kind of have now, barring one or two different characters, have to go up against Doctor Doom, who has a shit ton of nuclear missiles directed towards Earth. And over the course of a few battles, Bucky's just... Well, just before this, there's a battle in Latveria, and Doctor Doom's like, Arns, you can join me. You can be the leader of all of my top spies. You know, you can do whatever you want with impunity. But, you know, you could be the best of the best, and you wouldn't ever have to be considered to be just this mind controlled slave dog. You know, and he gives him the whole spiel, and he looks at Doom and he says, Vic, I don't care. Why? I'm a distraction. Yeah, because they've been raiding Latveria blind. They've been doing it to get hold of, in this storyline, they've been doing it to get hold of a skull who's resurrecting himself in the bottom of Doom's castle, and Doom does not know about it, and Doom does not take it very well. And that's kind of the reason why Barnes doesn't get automatically slaughtered and he gets an offer. But then that story carries on to where the nuclear bombs are being held, and Black Widow's like, Bucky, why are you doing this? He's like, well, recently I had a bit of a confrontation with Doom, and this is kind of my fault. What did you do? Kind of spat in his face. Spits in Doom's face. I don't know, but I also called him Vic.
Oh god!
And it's one of my favourite lines, and I would love to see that in this. Have those series of battles where he's constantly having to come up against Bucky. He's like, why is it you again? I've taken down the best, and you're here.
Clearly, Bucky's response should be space magic.
Oh, don't. But yeah, it's a weird time in the Marvel MCU, but yeah, it's a great set of stories, worth looking up. It's around the Dark Reign era. It all happens. It's quite fun. But yeah.
But oh yeah,
like I said, you're right. That's kind of annoying. It's kind of stupid. But I'm gonna go watch it.
Oh yeah. Gonna go watch it.
I have had friends that have seen it and really do enjoy it. Said it is sort of one of the best films they've seen from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a long, long time. Yeah, I mean,
I'll be the judge of that one personally.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. But I am also people may think that you're one of those people, you like the Marvels, and because and this we've talked about the Marvels before, and I love the Marvels movie. I love it. I love Eternals. I think Eternals' main problem is it was too slow, and I'll fully agree with people on that. But I did generally like Eternals. But in all essence, the reason I'm not easily pleased with most Marvel movies, it's just that I appreciate when Marvel does things that I read in the comics, even without doing the full comic storyline, and they reference it rather than I don't. My major issue, right, is as we've discussed many times, the Snyderverse of fucking DC in my opinion is shit. The reason it's shit is it completely deviates from the comic. Like, it just goes, nah, we're never going to follow the comics as a source material. It's just, the comics are just... the names only, basically, most of the time.
It was all the darkest elements of the characters that you normally get over the course of a decade concentrated down to an hour and 45 minutes. And if you see Superman get angry once over the course of the film and then lose it for a bit, that's really cool. 9 times out of 10, if you're doing it every single scene, there's no part. It's not fun.
Yeah, and also it's also everyone in that universe was essentially Batman. I'm sorry, but I will not take that back. They were all Batman, and that is all they were. It was Batman in blue, Batman as Batman, Batman in blue, Batman of the ocean, Batwoman of the Bat Wonder Woman. They were all so dark and edgy. like they're all edgy compared to, what I'm used to seeing them as, and it's just like, why am I watching this? Because none of these characters seem like Superman is meant to be the beacon of hope. That is his whole thing. He's the hope character. He's the good boy scout. He will not break the rules ever, and it's like he's also the one person that that Bruce trusts. Like, that's the whole point, is Bruce and Supes are supposed to, even all the cartoons, all we ever see is that they are best friends. He's the only person that Bruce even though Bruce has a plan to deal with all of the Justice League, because that's what he does, because he always planned, as far as he's concerned, he considers them the plan, his contingency plan for himself, should ever he get off the deep end, which is not what people forget, is go, yeah, but how are they going to do that if he goes deep end? Because his plans, all of his takedown plans are non-lethal on purpose. For that reason.
But there's other things as well. I mean, his take on the characters would have been and I know he keeps saying, I was going to go, my aim was to go towards injustice, and all the fanboys say he was going towards injustice. Well, he didn't do any of it right. If you're doing injustice and you want that to be the characters, you want them to be the angry version of the characters, then you need to start that story out like that, doing injustice. Or you start it out as characters we know, the hope, the all the good things of the characters, and show what happens when they change. What he did is made them all dark and miserable to then go into a more dark and miserable situation.
You've learned into a robot, by the way.
And then, I'm sorry?
You turned into a robot for a second.
Like I say, yeah. So I mean, the big thing there is the way you set it up, and he just set it up, and they're already angry and miserable. So there was nowhere to go from that, but worse. And that's what I think he wanted. He wanted to do Watchmen, but with the actual DC cast. And that's not what a lot of people wanted.
No. I get that we still have the whole people that think the Snyderverse was the best thing since sliced bread. We do have a small subset of fans that are like that and seem to constantly want to hate on James Gunn's version, and I'm just sat there going, I'm sorry, but the James Gunn version managed to get me, and I think we have discussed this on this podcast multiple times, Jax. I don't like Superman. Yeah. I have never liked Superman. He's not I don't like the character in the sense of, he's done well when he's the whole, in the comics that I've seen him in, where he's looking after just visiting normal people and doing like the guy that was the ex-con, he's just like, why are you having your lunch with me every day? You need to check me. I'm not checking on you. I'm just seeing my friend. Or the girl that was going to commit suicide. He just stops and just gives them a hug, and that's it.
Yeah, boiling down character to just these main points, these main emotional jumps, will never make a fully good character. It is the mix. Of everything.
But it's mixed for everything. But it's the idea that it's.
You're right. That's the side of it I kind of like as well. We know he's a character that can, if he really, really wanted to, he could smash a planet open with the person he's fighting, and never lose. But then It's the fact that sometimes he does fix things with one of the hardest things to do, which is understanding.
Yeah.
And it's something that can easily be forgotten in the character, and it kind of shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's like
it's
that
just as
the
important as
legacy
his job.
trailer, the kid, the kid with when the bus explodes in the trailer and he puts himself in harm's way, or the other kid in the the scene of the obvious war zone holding up that flag, and you can and stuff. I will let you carry on, Mint Jax. I just need to be right back 1 second.
Yep. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to in the James Gunn movies, because, like you say, with the flag being held up in, I think it's going to end up being Duck, but I can't remember that. No, it's not. It's the place from the animated series. But yeah, the kid's holding it up as a sign of hope, as a come help here, a symbol, which is what that character is great for. Yes, Iron Man goes in and takes out the terrorists. Superman goes in and gives the reason for the entire army to not want to fight back. There is a great line in one of the comics where it's mentioned when, and it's basically a series of people being asked, when you met Superman, what did you feel? And there was one guy waxing lyrical about how Superman was great, and how just being in his presence made you want to do better. And then it cuts out, and he was once a general of some sort of army in one of these countries, killing a load of people, and Superman came down, and so it was like, oh, I'm going to take you all out, but what the hell are you doing? So yeah, he's a character that inspires greatness in others as well, and that's his point. And it's like and I think this James Gunn one seems to be trying to go for.
It's having him be like, it's like the thing that Zack needs to forget is that Clark Kent, aka Superman, is farm boy Clark Kent, raised by Martha and I always forget his father's name.
Jonathan.
Martha and Jonathan Kent, and he's literally been raised. He's a farm boy from Smallville. He's like raised to be this, to help everyone else out, even from like a young age, to always be the helpful person. It's like he was raised by humans, not by he's this powerful, all powerful alien, essentially godlike alien at this point. But he is like, at the fundamental heart, the thing that makes Superman like as a hero, like despite not being one of the kind of heroes that I read like multiple comics or like enjoy like that much, what makes the heart of him is that he's an alien and he's super powerful, but at the end of the day he's still just farm boy Clark Kent.
What really annoys me about the whole thing, though, with the Snyderverse stuff and with the way that some of the fans act, is, especially when you criticise it, is that, by pretty much every metric, has the most recognisable characters on the most basic level. And by that I mean, if you just show a silhouette of the logo, silhouette of the person, you know who you've got. For the most part, Marvel, my favourite, doesn't have that. And I've done this a couple of times. So what's Superman's logo? What's Superman's logo?
Yes.
Right. What's Wolverine's logo?
Yellow spandex.
No, it is literally the black and white version of his helmet, his mask. How often do you see that on a pencil case? So, same thing. What's Batman's logo?
It's a bat.
It's a bat. Chest plate. Right. then let's go for another big one then. What is Iron Man's logo?
His helmet.
It is. It's his helmet, and in particular, it is.
You almost said Spider-Man before you said that,
helmet.
didn't you? And you remember that Spider-Man's icon is very iconic. It's on his goddamn chest.
Weirdly enough, that isn't actually the logo they use in the comic books. Do you know what logo they use in the comic books?
What?
His head. It's his mask again.
His mask. But it's like
a big freaking thing on his chest.
Fair. I think with Marvel, I have noticed a lot with like most of their characters. Like in any Marvel game, their characters are represented by usually like their mask. A lot of the time.
It very much is so. That is, I mean, the actual character became iconic, but there was nothing really that differentiated out from it. I mean, the actual using that Spider-Man logo being quite a definitive thing and going, oh, that is Spider-Man, really came more modern time. And really, to be specific on it, it was the Venom Spider-Man logo that became the one that everyone went, that's Spider-Man's, right? That's the Venom Spider-Man, right? And that's the one that then sort of, in many ways, inspired the one you've got for the modern-day PlayStation games, which is the next big, most recognisable spider on a costume. But yeah,
to be fair, I will admit, I feel like it is also that it is generally Venom is the one that you're more likely to
pick out, because Venom became an icon.
It is Venom that we more associate with the spider on his chest than Peter. That's what's really funny.
Actually, his logo.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the only one that has a proper logo, really. And it's quite an interesting one. Deadpool. His one is, although it's really just a version of his mask again. His belt buckle is his logo. So it's it's an interesting thing how the two have a major difference.
Yeah.
But on that means that the DC stuff, the Warner Brothers stuff, should be the more profitable. And if it can't be, you're doing something wrong. Because people know who Superman is before they've ever seen anything with Superman.
Yeah.
There are people out there. Yeah. I mean, even before all this, the modern day craze of comic books, back when really the only films with Superman in was you heard that there was a new one out called Superman Returns, right? Before that, there were people that knew who Superman was intrinsically, but had never read a comic book. It was just a character that's ingrained into the psyche at this point. Marvel really doesn't have that. The best they have really is Spider-Man. It is their icon characters. It's Spider-Man. It's Wolverine. But it's but even so,
it's the mask that's iconic, not the symbol.
I mean, even the characters themselves. I mean, on your best day, on a recognisable day, I mean, Spider-Man and Wolverine will get recognised almost instantly around the world. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman will get instantly recognised around the world. You start with DC, you can go a lot further with their characters than you can with Marvel back in the day. That has changed. And the movies and the animated series have changed that massively because people went there for the quality and the number. They have just stuck with the core four.
Yeah.
And everyone knows who the core four is. Need another Superman film to tell us a story about Superman? No.
Well,
in fact, at this point, he can be a cameo. The same with Batman. He can be a cameo at this point. We know who he is. That's why I was quite... I mean, the Flash movie, as much as I hated that, for many reasons, the way they use Batman in that is kind of the way you need to use him now in films. He doesn't need his own film.
I actually tend to agree with that one.
Yeah.
Because
he's better in an ensemble. Superman's better in an ensemble. Once you've got god tier characters, the only time they're really useful is when they have to fight together to defeat something that not one of them could defeat on their own.
Because personally, I think, coming from the generation that kind of grew up on the animated series of Batman, I think Batman works best in a TV series than he does better in a TV series than he does in like the films.
Yep. he should be a detective show because he's meant to be the great detective. Took the title from Sherlock Holmes. The only person in DC better than him is a freaking intelligent chimp.
Yes. The chimp is hilarious in the few panels I've seen him in.
Detective Chimp is awesome. Just always worth a watch, especially when he has to have an argument with Batman. And he's like pointing out how feeble or not just how behind Batman's got with his technique. And it's quite funny. I can help you with that if you need it. He's an arse. I love him. We need a film with Detective Chimp. But yeah, so under James Gunn, the reason I like it is because he has the comedy, he has the sincerity. He's worked for both sides of the fence. He knows how both sides interact. He has read the comics. He knows what he wants to go for. And I think we are going to see a very bright Superman. And
we are. We've already, from the trailer, we already know we're getting the bright Superman.
And we're going to get a dark Batman. I think we're going to get something, honestly, along the lines of the Matt Reeves stuff. I mean, he's not going to. We know Patterson isn't our Batman, but I think that's the kind of.
Isn't he at least getting a second movie though?
Yes, they are. So his films are still going to be classed under the Elsewhere franchise.
Well, at least we're getting Elsewhere stories, though. That's the main thing.
And a second Batman film has been greenlit and is meant to be in production, but being held off currently for what they're currently doing at DC. So yeah, it's in a bit of a limbo state, but we are still meant to be getting it.
Because I will admit, I did like Patterson's Batman. It was quite alright.
He was very good. He was a good young Bruce Wayne, and he was a good young Batman, and they had a lot of places they could go with that.
Oh, by the way, we finished the run in this as well.
My the one thing I am actually looking forward to is one character that has actually been taking a lot of flack in all the trailers.
Is it Guy Gardner?
Guy Gardner, because I actually do like the character. The character actually has a lot of history with comic books. The term fridging is down to one of his stories. It was his girlfriend that was put in the fridge and killed. So that whole idea, that whole terminology comes from a Guy Gardner story. And he is an arsehole. But he is an arsehole to the most powerful person in the room.
Oh yeah.
And that's his deal. You know, he's in many comics and in many of the animations, when Superman does something or Batman does something that isn't quite right, he's the one that stands in front of him and says, "You carry on. You know you're a scumbag, right? And I'm better than scum, so I'm better than you." And he really.
As we discussed last week on the podcast, while Oblivion was in the background, I think you can agree with me on one thing. We definitely did a movie just of old Nathan Fillion just being Nathan Fillion.
I would love that. I would love an Elsewhere story, Avengers Elsewhere story, where Nathan Fillion is every character in it. And the only time you see anyone other than Nathan Fillion is when...
It's a TV show where he stars in.
Yeah, it's in Rookie. They show an episode of Rookie. Once again, he's every character except for Nathan Fillion, who's being played by
Fillion, by the way, not Fillion. It's an I, not an A.
Fillion, whatever. We all know who I mean.
We do. Despite your inability to...
Preacher from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, so I think that's
Caleb from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's still one of the fucking most terrifying villains that showed up in that.
Preacher was scary.
It's just the fact that it's the way he played that character as just a pure like misogynistic like bad guy. That like it's just the way he played him was so well that I always forget. I always forget because there's all the other stuff I'd seen him in as well. Before rewatching Buffy, and then realizing that was Nathan Fillion, going, "Oh shit, that's Nathan Fillion," and I didn't even realize it.
Well, I was recently redirected to another episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer the other day, in which the very young vampire boy that is about to get the shit kicked out of him by Sarah Michelle Gellar is Pedro Pascal.
Oh, did you get to the Pedro episode?
No, I know. So, no, someone said, pointed out, it was like, do you know Pedro's in Buffy? I was like, yeah, I think I've heard some about it. It was like, you know, I can't remember which. And they showed me, I was like, I remember it. And as soon as they showed me, it was like, not only do I remember the episode, I remember this scene. I remember sitting on my nan's sofa watching this episode. So yeah, it's that was quite funny. Who would have thought he would have become one of the greats of
I know, right? This is throwaway
pop
actor.
culture geekdom.
It's really funny seeing him in it. And he's like, wait a minute. You're like, wait a minute. That's Pedro.
Yeah, I mean, he has done now. I mean, seriously, he has been in Star Wars.
Been in Star Wars. He's been in
Knocked Out of Park.
He's been Last of Us.
He's been in Last of Us. He's done a video game franchise
and he's
TV show.
One of the
knocked it out of the park.
The only 2 video game franchise TV shows that were good. We both agree. We can both agree on that.
Yeah, and he's coming into Marvel as Mr. Fantastic, even if it is for a short period. I can't. You know what? I got it for a bit. I was like, yeah, he's a big guy. I can understand them only doing that family for one turn.
Mm-hmm.
The more I'm seeing of it, and the more I'm seeing of him in it.
Well, he's back in Doomsday as well. Remember?
Yeah. But like they did say from very early on, this isn't the MC. This isn't the MCU Fantastic Four you're going to see going forward. You know, we were already pre-warned that this was a to the end of this story thing. But I can't imagine that. Like something about it all. I've got a feeling that they're coming back.
I don't think that that thing you heard originally is actually going to be the thing anymore.
Which one?
That they're not going to be the mainline one anymore. I have a feeling they may now have become.
Oh no! Maybe not. I mean, that was actually announced by Marvel more than anything else when people were asking about what this means. And originally they did say that it was, they weren't going to be on the same. But I mean, I know they're crossing over now, but they're crossing over now just before what would be normally a complete rewrite of characters anyway.
Oh yeah.
So like I said, after the reboot, I don't think so. We may get extra films with them, but I don't. Yeah, I hope.
I think the thing is that we know they're in an alternate universe, so I have a feeling that there might be an alternate universe, but I have a feeling they may end up, because of what's happening, they may end up taking the role of the Fantastic Four that, as we know from the last time Secret Wars happened, the Fantastic Four is the one who rebuilt the universe at the time with Franklin.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean...
And we now know from the latest trailer that we are definitely getting the Franklin. Are you pregnant? You're going to be a great dad. You're going to be a great dad. I'm kidding. You're going to be bad at this. It's just like...
I mean, it's
Johnny.
I think it's very funny that they, once again, Marvel spoiling shit. Yes, people had already guessed what was happening in that case because of many weird scenes that were quite, the way they'd been edited, and obviously they'd shown them to us and stuff like that. But finally coming out and saying it instead of just leaving it for the film. Speculation is one thing. Speculation is fun.
I have a feeling it's because this is very much going to be. It's not a major plot point of the film.
See, here's the other thing as well. Everyone's going on about how it's Franklin. Who said that? Also, not the oldest child.
No, Valeria is.
So I think it's more likely we're going to get Valeria.
Valeria first.
Because in a weird way, I think that would make more sense. I know they're traveling through realities, and it kind of makes more. In a weird way, you'd say no, it makes more sense to have the reality bend in it. But
Actually, no, because the lack of reality benders in the film, if you haven't coming in Doomsday out of the cast that's been announced so far, I think the fact that there is no, if it's Valerian, would make a hell of a lot more sense.
Yeah. I'm also wondering, and this is something that was mentioned. I saw something the other day, and it sort of stuck in my head a bit. The difference between the official Marvel's official balance of power in the comic books, and what the fans' version is, and what we've got on the screen currently is kind of a weird mix. Which makes certain characters a hell of a lot more powerful than they are because the way you've had to describe powers. For example, the Phoenix. So for the Phoenix, for example, Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
In the official power structures, Jean Grey isn't actually that high up.
No, she's not. It's the Phoenix that's powerful. Jean is just the host.
It's the Phoenix that is considered to be incredibly powerful, and because of the way that Marvel structures their power systems, it's an addition to her powers, so she doesn't go any higher. Whereas Franklin is quite high. Now that's not really my point. My point is I'm wondering if the new films, when we get them back, will be more in tune with what Marvel considers power levels and strengths and stuff, which means then we're going to see a different MCU going forward, which will be quite fun because it does mean that there's a lot more powerful villains out there than there are heroes.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it leaves it more open to a film having multiple hit, like it being, let's say, an Iron Man film, but you're going to have in it at some point one or two other heroes. And then the same thing goes for a Spider-Man film or a Captain America film, blah, blah, blah. You're going to see a bit of a crossover, a loop over, especially because I've had a villain's loop over. You know, you may see a villain in an Iron Man film, and after he has his ass kicked by Iron Man, he's trying to do something else to get himself up again, and it's a Captain America film. Because that's what happened in the comic books. You know, every so often you get a little bubble at the bottom going, this happened in issue 242 of Iron Man. Go read the Iron Man book.
Oh, yeah. Or go watch the Iron Man movie.
In this case, go watch the Iron Man movie. And then so that's what I think they're going to go for.
No, I do. So many people are going to complain when they start recasting Captain America, when we start getting Captain America back and Iron Man back, and these characters back, played by different actors, going, what the hell are you recasting? Why don't you just cast the same people back? And it's like, these people are old, like not old, but these people can't play these characters forever. This is the part that why Marvel's having to do, like, move the story on and follow the other characters that showed up in the comics to take over, because Marvel cannot just have Chris Evans play Captain America forever as much as people want him to, because unfortunately Chris Evans needs to, Chris Evans is getting older and can't exactly.
Yeah, I mean, basically what you're saying is Spider-Man can't stay 22 for 50 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. I mean, this is a problem that studios have rather than fans. We get it, We get that the person in the costume may look different, but they're still that person. It's always Peter Parker. It's always Miles Morales, whatever. I think we're used to that because one of the things we're used to as comic book readers is a different artist every so often.
Yeah.
And a different style coming in. So we can get it. We're smart people. We understand. Yes, people are going to get angry. So some people get angry because, let's be fair, some of them are idiots, and some of them are doing it because they just want attention, not because they have an opinion. But I mean, I get it. I don't like you might not like the actor that's coming in to play the role, but saying I don't like the actor because they're not 50-year-old that played it 20 years ago is because you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that.
Well, we hope we're not going to get that, but we know we will because some people just don't. Some people can't accept that you have to occasionally change the actors, recast them. No. But
that's what I mean. We're not going to get those people back. That's it. I mean, just on an economic sense, Robert Downey Jr. was paid a crap ton of money to do 2 films singly. Then to save them some money, they paid him a hell of a lot of money to do a chain of them. But the big thing at the end of that is that he gets a crap ton of money for every film in the MCU he does that isn't within that original contract. And they have to pay him through the nose every time. So yeah, they can do a new contract, but why would he sign it? If you've got to give him 300, 400 million a film, or he can get a couple of million and some off the back end, why would he risk it?
Exactly. Why would he? I
don't want to do it for 90 million.
That's the point. Like why? But also, it's like, oh, there's the amount of people going, we're getting Invincible, we're getting Infamous Iron Man with Doom, and I'm like, and Marvel's like, we're not. He is Victor Von Doom. Like, he's not the Infamous Iron Man where he takes over Tony's body. It is straight up, this is just Victor Von Doom. It's like, no, it's because they cast Robert Downey Jr. I'm like, we have literally had multiple times now different actors playing the same character appeared in more than one film now and more than one show, and it's like they've literally been laying the groundwork for.
Well, in particular, which is more important, they've shown different actors playing the same character.
Yeah.
So in
one example,
case, we've seen. Yeah.
One example.
Well, we've got 2 great examples. We've got Spider-Man, and we've got Johnny. You're about to say it, Johnny Storm and Captain America.
Well, not just that. No, there's also a third one.
No.
Mr. Fantastic. We've had 2 of them already. Remember?
Yeah. Yes, we have. That's a very good point.
Yeah, there's 3 characters we've already had in films that have all been like different appearances in different universes.
My only thing I would say that is kind of that would lead those out is that none of those have had an MCU appearance. Whereas, so Pedro Pascal will be the first MCU.
No,
Mr. Fantastic.
I
know.
It was
Johnny Storm's one. Yeah, but we don't know which. We don't know which. His
John Krasinski's
Mr. Fantastic is.
No, but he was in Doctor Strange. He was already in the MCU movie. He was in Doctor Strange. He's second film. Or did you completely blank out the part where they go to where he meets the Illuminati?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. Yes, you're right.
We've had John Krasinski play him, and now we have Pedro Pascal play him. We've also John Krasinski playing the officer that the one that likes Scott with all the magic tricks.
I don't remember him being in that. Actually, I do not remember John Krasinski being in that.
Yeah, he was the fan cast for like Mr. Fantastic for years, and then he was cast as him in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
I remember that in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I don't remember him talking to Ant-Man.
It's the joke about Randy Parks and him from the Office.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Identity theft's not a joke, Jim, but I am Jim.
Oh, yeah.
The internet has collectively just has taken that as a.
I can honestly tell you I have seen 3 episodes of The American Office.
I like it more than the British one, but that's me.
I do not. I prefer the British one. In my opinion, they forgot the cringe.
I don't know. Steve Carell is pretty cringe in that fucking show, constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's. Yeah, I don't know. It's just. I don't know. It's just me. But yeah, my Beth keeps trying to get me to watch it, and I keep trying to get her to watch the British one.
Well, there's no account
Yeah,
for
no,
taste.
I
But then again, you like
it's just
Ricky
that.
Gervais, and to me, I want to punch Ricky Gervais in the face because I really don't like Ricky Gervais.
Oh, I get it. He's a very, very
He's an acquired taste. That's
very-
the problem.
he's abrasive. He the big thing with him is every single human being on the planet is a target.
Oh, it's not his humour. I just generally I don't know. I just don't like him.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, yeah. I say he's a very abrasive person. It's quite funny that recently that he's one of the people that he kept employed for decades, and literally at one point, like literally just gave him money to around. He's saying that he was actually he's always really nasty to me and bullied me.
No. It's just it's because Ricky Gervais, unfortunately, he's unequivocally British. I think we can both agree on that. It's if I like you, I'm going to make fun of you. We're British. It's kind of just our thing.
Oh, unfortunately, the guy he's talking, the guy who's doing it is British as well. It's another comedian called Robin Ince, who was basically in his crowd back in the day. And yeah, it's just a sorry state of affairs. But no, he was he. I'm not going to defend his humour. I'm not going to defend his personality by any means. But I do remember when I first saw him on Not the 11 O'Clock News doing a news segment called Ricky Gervais, and there was someone on there, and it was the 90s, and they said something quite bigoted. I can't remember what it was now, but the way he started ripping into this guy was fucking hilarious. I mean, he literally started at the guy's shoes, and then by the end of it, you had just a quivering wreck apologising, whilst Ricky was like, "Now it's time for your hair."
Stuff, yeah, mate.
And yeah, literally just done him from the toes to the tops, and just ripped into everything about him, and just made it. And it was funny. It was absolutely funny. So I kind of always liked him since then. But he's a dickhead. You know, sometimes he can be a dickhead. I can't lie.
There we go.
One of the things I would like to, that I am
What?
looking forward to seeing, by the way,
Is what?
is the new Alien TV series.
That, yeah, I am excited. The fact that the last trailer was basically talking about the fact they have 5 specimens, which means, are we going to get another, like a kind of Alien 3 little repeat thing? If we're going to get different versions of Xenomorph finally, again?
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, one of the big things about them coming to Earth, and we've talked about this before, is that in one of the comic books, when they got to Earth, one
You've cut out again, Jax.
of the places the face huggers. Am I back?
You're back.
I'm back. Yeah, we spoke about this before. One of the things that's in the comic books that I've always wanted to see: the zoo. The face huggers get into a zoo. That would be
We need this.
mental. Although there is one other thing that I know, like the chances of this happening are the same as a 25-foot snowman appearing in the middle of June, walking around shitting ice cream. But what if the Earth they landed on, and the film we're about to see, is on the MCU Earth? And the show we're about to see is on the MCU Earth?
It's definitely not, because it's canon to the actual timeline of Alien. And it's set, I think the official we've got is it's set after Aliens, before Alien 3, or something now, is what the timeline is.
Yeah, but like I say, it'd be nice. I mean, it'd be the first time I could do it, and that does mean that we could have an animated version of the Aliens versus Marvel Universe.
Yeah, but the problem is who the heck would they be able to cast to do that scene from when they go to Araco. You know, this gunfire's human. No. No, what does it fire?
Yeah.
Face huggers! Don't know.
Exactly.
Shut up, Sinister. Stop this bullshit.
That's exactly the scene I want to see. And do you know what? There are two people I think could do it fucking perfectly.
Kill this guy.
Mr. Sinister, check this out. Think about Mr. Sinister 1, played by Eva, Nicolas Cage.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that one. Nicolas Cage would be hilarious as Sinister.
All right. The second one, a little bit out of the box, Harry.
Who again?
Jim Carrey.
Oh yes,
Ace Ventura.
Jim Carrey would be hilarious as him. It'd be just Sinister is flipping hilarious.
It's I can see the mannerisms as well, like when the humans come out the pod, and it's what ammo is that? And him just sticking one finger up and looking at them and going, this gun fires tuggers.
And
I can just see him doing the gestures as it just.
Actually, yeah, I can picture that. I can picture that. It's also the fact that it would be absolutely hilarious. Just it'd be the maniacal laugh afterwards of either of them doing it.
Yeah.
It would be just. Oh god damn! That would though. It would be hilarious, but no, the show is going to be a horror show, hopefully, and I am hoping against hope we get more exploration of the corporate, shit, the corporate dystopia stuff. That, like, some people, I don't want it to be like that. I just want to see the aliens killing people, and I'm like, I don't know. We've got how many movies is it now? We have Covenant, Aliens, Alien 3, the one I don't like, Romulus, Aliens vs Predator, Aliens vs Predator 2 Requiem. There's like what? That's 8 movies of where we can watch aliens kill people. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing with a TV series. It depends on how they've done it. And to be fair, I've spoke to a couple of people that have worked with it, so I know it is sodic. If they'd done an anthology series with links to each story, going towards an overall story, kind of like how What If does it.
Yeah.
You could get a great story where you've got Marines going up against the ship as it's landing. And the next episode could be all about the corporate shit going on about what do we do with this ship that's landing. And then you could do a great one about what the fuck is going on in the ship and what happens when something just gets fully taken over by aliens. What do? They just hibernate? Do they gestate? Do they what? Is there an element of intelligence to them? Like, can they reprogram something to do something?
It's the fact that it's crash landing on Earth containing this thing is the scariest thing in my opinion. It's like, oh no. Because I really, and I think which comic I really want this to actually be the start of. And I would love it to be the start of that comic because it would be brilliant to finally see one of the comics brought into actual, live action. Aliens Earth Hive.
Batman versus
Fuck off, you. Fuck off, Jax, with your stupid Batman versus Alien.
Versus Predator, actually.
Yeah, well, the Predator's not in this film. But then we've got the Predator Badlands coming later this year. And that has got a fucking Weyland Yutani android.
It has. And a child predator.
I love that headline.
It's still, as soon as I heard it, I thought it's the funniest thing, and it's the only way I'm describing this film. I'm really sorry, Disney. I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to see it at least once, but I'm always going to refer to it as the film with a child predator.
I know.
And you did that.
It was I didn't do it. Disney did it.
Not you. No, that's what I mean. Disney did it.
It's just that it was that I just was looking through Facebook and an IGN article pops up going, Disney makes film about child predator, and I'm like, why would this be your introduction to the fact that the predator in the film is a child, is a young predator, not an adult? Like, just no. Why would you use those exact words? You knew what you were doing at this point. I think
it was hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious.
And but it's just it's so, it was just like, we've got Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is, I'm going to see it on Saturday. I'm annoyed that they've changed the name already before, basically they're changing the name on Monday, which I think is about 2 weeks after it came out, which is probably why they're waiting. Changed the name on Monday to fit the reveal of what the team renames themselves to during the film. And it's annoying they've done that because they've spoiled that little part of the film for people like me who haven't got a chance to see it yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't get me wrong, it's going to be... I'm going to I'll probably enjoy it. Mostly because I get to see the Sentry do stupid bullshit because, it's the Sentry.
It is the Sentry.
But it is also... excuse me. But it is. It's going to be fun. It's just also seeing David Harbour back as freaking Red Guardian. It's just... I loved Red Guardian in Black Widow. He was just so funny. It's just like, I fought Captain America and I've done this, and I'm like, I'm also amazing, and I'm like, no, you're not. Just be quiet. Be quiet, old man. But he's like, he's just really, he's the big happy grandpa that everyone just thinks of him as the joke.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of would have liked... Do you know what? One thing I would like to have seen in that, though, just to fix up a little bit of confusion, is that they make mention that he hasn't seen TV since he's been in prison. So all this stuff he's been getting his information. Because if he hasn't seen TV, he can carry on telling those stories about Captain America, and it makes sense.
Yep.
Because he could have easily fought the black Captain America and not realised that the one that's come back is a white one. But if they have seen TV and he's seen Captain America and everything and on the Wheaties box, and he knows full well that's not the Captain America he fought.
Nah, it
doesn't make sense that he asked Natasha if Captain America ever mentions him. It makes sense if he doesn't know there's two different ones.
I think, well, to be fair, he was in a Russian gulag. He definitely didn't have access to a television, let's be honest, at that point.
Yeah.
Also, I did like we got a mutant in that Ursula Major was actually in the movie and just no one realised.
No, there was loads. If that prison, once again, like in the James Gunn ones, those prison scenes were full of people from comic books, by the way.
Oh, yeah, there's just so many characters that were in the background. It's like, that are in the background or foreground. It's like, oh, yeah, this is really neat.
I can't remember who it is, but the guy whose army breaks is someone as well. I can't remember who. Yeah. It was good. Once again, it's one of those films I've watched a couple of times. It's nowhere near my favourite. I kind of see it as the beginning and the downfall of it all, but it has got some great elements to it.
I think the issue with Black Widow, as we both said, is it came out far too late. As much as I love
it, far too late.
It was It was basically, we're going to make a Black Widow movie. Cool, I'm really excited for this. We're going to release it after she dies in Endgame.
Yeah, there was other problems with it. There was a bit of an element of it being a bit of a B movie compared to the others. It just didn't seem to have all the budget the others had. But that being said, the actual story was really good.
Oh yeah, the story was a proper, really good story. It's just a matter of...
The thing about the Taskmaster was...
Yeah.
Taskmaster was a bit of an issue in the fact that if they had been watching all the Avengers battles, those fight scenes and Taskmaster works the way they do in the comics, that could have been a really interesting set of fights all the way through. And then it just became a little bit meh. It became people shouting at each other in a boardroom with broken noses. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it is what it is. It was a fairly decent and okay film. It was not the best. It was not amazing in my opinion. It
Not the
was
worst, and nowhere near the worst. After a lot of stuff that's come out, it just had an unfortunate set of issues.
yeah. I think my main issue, as I've said about it, is it came out after. It came out after the movie that she dies in, which meant that she was kind of like, unfortunately, at that point, I wasn't interested in her story anymore because
No,
I'm already seeing the end of your story. I don't care where your story's going once I've seen the end of your story. Like, it's not like, example, a show we both watch, time travel show, Doctor Who, the Matt Smith season where the first opening episode has, a doctor that appears. He's older. He's the older doctor in the, in it without spoiling how and then the astronaut coming out of the astronaut coming out of the water and shooting him dead that he doesn't get to regenerate. And it's a time travel show. At this point, I'm like, okay, how the hell is this going to work? How the hell is this going to work then? And going to happen? It's like you were thinking about it, and then it's like, oh, okay. When it gets to the reveal of how that all happened, it's, oh, okay, this is brilliant. I understand it now. But it's like the problem with Black Widow is just that as much as I love Scarlett Johansson as an actress, it was just one of those...
We had the great ending already. We'd already had the best ending for it, a great cap. You don't add... You basically, you don't give someone a truffle omelette after they've just eaten a 6-course meal and said everything's perfect.
Exactly.
That's what they tried to do. It was just wasted at that point. It would have been a great film just before. I mean, if they had done that entire film and then had it after the snap, her coming back and no one being there,
yeah,
and then freaking out, and then you go into Endgame and you see what happens, you'll be like, oh shit, and then that hits more powerful. There's no one there, or she's asking for Natasha, and she's like, but yeah, there's...
Oh yeah, it's the fact that
can be done better.
Yeah, the Yelena bit. It's the end of it when it gets to the end. It's like Yelena then snaps out of existence.
That's kind of the bit where things go tits up for everyone. So that's when it should be. Yeah, I mean that's when she should come back, and we see it, but we don't know what's happened in that in between time. I mean, because even then, don't even have her come back in the end as the after scene for the snap. Just have her disappear at the end of that film. It then gives a lot more pathos to why. Here's the other thing: if you'd put that film out first and you had sister disappear in the snap, it gives a great reason as to why there is then a fight between Natasha and Hawkeye on the top of the thing.
Why both of them think they've got nothing left to basically lose at that point.
But her giving the last thing she has possible up, the most precious thing to her, is herself to get someone else back. And that's why her soul works as a replacement for the stone.
Oh, yeah. It's one of them things if
it's just doing it for suicide. There's no other real reason. So yeah, it's just... Yeah, it's one of those things. So, I think it would have been a better film and much more liked if it was placed differently.
If it was placed before Endgame, it would have worked better, in my opinion.
Yeah. The other thing I think that film should have been as well, should have been the whole Budapest story. It should have been back. If it was the whole Budapest thing, and then all the way through the film, she's got someone whispering her ear, putting her out randomly every now and again, some sort of sniper who's been like enemy at the gate style, who's been tracking her along this whole mission to get her to a safe zone. Finally, at the end, it's Hawkeye standing there.
Yeah, you and I remember Budapest very differently.
Yeah, and that would actually make more sense because one of them's literally fighting for her life to get out of the place, and the other guy is hiding off in the shadows, literally just being her surviving angel, just picking off people every now and again and literally sending her a message, go left. Yeah, or vice versa, and that'll be how they meet up.
There we go.
And that would actually be a really good film.
Oh, yeah.
No, it doesn't matter. We're not in charge. We just buy tickets for this stuff.
Oh, I know. But it is one of them things that and excuse me, but yeah, it's one of those things.
Well, we've got that side of it is we have come to. I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, skipping off the subject slightly, but not so much. The other thing we have got to look forward to and could possibly connect into all this stuff at some point is the second season of Daredevil, because the first season was incredibly good.
Oh god, that was so good. I will not say anything bad about the Daredevil season.
Second watch, the only thing I would say is how it definitely feels like half a season. But it's not that you can tell that season 1 and 2 originally was meant to be just season 1, and they cut it in half because that end left you. Didn't feel like a cliffhanger. It felt like we carry this on next week.
Oh yeah, but to be fair as well, we are getting a Punisher limited series in between the middle of this as well, which is going to be interesting.
Didn't know that had been greenlit.
Yeah, that's the reason that John kind of gets out. The whole Punisher escaping at the end is they greenlit a Punisher series as well.
Okay. I mean that was brutal. I honestly, when I messaged you when I watched that because I was like, I can't believe
they just did that.
What I've just seen Disney do. If honestly, if someone had told me in the months following that no one had passed those scenes past anyone at Disney and just added them last minute, I would believe that.
Oh yeah, it's one of those scenes that's actually holy shit. They actually went there with the violence.
Yeah. Not to a small amount either.
No, it was like, oh, I love that they're like, I think what it is they realise that Daredevil works so well. The reason why people love it so much was because, it's because, let's be honest, it was quite violent. It was, not aimed at, like the films. They make the films for everyone. Let's be honest. The films are made so everyone can watch them for the most part. Yeah. Daredevil's primarily made so, you and me, people who grew up on comics, understand comics and all this stuff, you and me who have done that so that we can experience like, okay, this is the level we see in the comics. This is the sort of violence we see in the comics and shit.
I mean, I like how they actually did reduce the amount of violence from Daredevil. They really did keep his fights down.
To show that he's trying not to be showing that he's trying to be better as well. It also shows he's trying to be better as well from the end of the beginning of the series. Yeah,
but even then, the villains, it shows how little, and not only the villains, the anti-heroes, i.e. Punisher, actually don't follow his rule. And by that, their violence is so much more amplified, which makes it more fun. I mean, I like it when Batman loses his shit. I like that when I've seen him keep his calm and fight his way through 1,000 people, and then it's like, no, do you know what? You are the straw that broke the camel's back, and you are going to get everything that's left in the tank. And that's what they started to, and that's what they did with, I think, that first episode, where they came in and it's like, he says to Foggy, I tried not to. And it's like, we tried to not let you. And it's like, right. And then when Foggy gets killed, it's that moment. You know what? Everything left in the tank. I am gonna kill you now. And then we saw a progression of him not doing that. And then finally, when those final couple battles come in, he was like, no. It's time you just let go.
Oh yeah, he was just beating through them. Like, also Frank, the fact that the minute Frank shows up, when Frank's the one that saves him, and it's like that bit with the shot where he just shoots the dude. He's telling him, no, just let him live. Just I don't do this, and then Frank just shoots the dude. But
even the other side of it is like when they've got him tied to the chair in the last episode, and he's like, "You want to be like me? Fucking idiots! You don't know the shit I've had to do to get here, just so you don't have to do it. I don't want to be me. I have to be.
I know.
You choose to do what you're doing. I didn't choose any of this."
I know he calls them pathetic, and then they're like, "That's right. You don't have to hide, Frank. You can join us." I'm like, that scene made me go, "You are all going to get killed by the end of this, and you're going to get killed by him, and he's going to make sure all of you die." Because it's like in his own comics. Even he will, like, his comics is like, people always forget that Frank Castle is an absolute psychopath. He admits he's a psychopath in his comics. He understands he is a psychopath. He is not a good person.
He is, yeah.
He knows what he is. He is not a good person. He's never said he's a good person. He's never gone, I'm a good person. No. But he does
what has to be done.
Yeah.
In his head.
But there is one thing he does do. He respects the police officers that do their job.
Oh yeah. Corrupt. Yeah, it's the corruption he's against.
Yeah.
If you're a good person, you've got nothing to fear from Frank Castle. You'll never hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
But you do something really bad, and that is the case. You have to have done something really bad. You've not just shot someone in a robbery. That's not the guy Frank Castle is after. But yeah, I mean, if he does show up, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, it's basically, what did I do wrong?
I do like there is a fantastic scene in one of the Deadpool Kills books.
Well, they also did the whole in the show. They did the Muse bit. The actual scene from the comic. Both of us were not expecting that scene to show up.
No, that's true.
And we were both like, "Wait a minute! They actually did it? What the hell?"
Yeah, I mean, they did it all very well. I mean, like I say, I was interested in, and not in this, and this isn't a slight. It was just I was interested to see if they would incorporate it or not, and they didn't. But then they didn't incorporate much of Matt's vision in any of this, in any real way. Is that Muse has an ability to hide himself from someone like Matt, and the way he affects Matt's radar is very interesting. And I was wanting to see how they do that, because in the comic books he's very artistic and very surreal, and they didn't do it, which is a shame, but I can understand why.
I also think in this case of this one is they wanted to make the Muse a bit more of an actual serial killer, a bit more of a non-powered serial killer in this case. Which is I don't mind, because it's completely opposite. No, it's just a different version of it. Like, example, it's one of those things of the MCU is not the comic universe. It is its own thing, its own.
It's a bit more grounded.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, because sometimes I'll be honest. Like, we might question why certain we might question, right, why certain things happen in the MCU, but in the end of the day, it is the MCU. It is fine. not everything has to be like the comics. That's the main
No.
thing.
No, the only thing I would like to see more of, in which we are getting costumes, and character designs, but we seem to be getting that, so I can't really complain much anymore.
We've already apparently got the what's his face, Mr. Marsden, who is playing our glorious Cyclops in the Doomsday, is apparently in the '97 style costume.
Well, yes.
Apparently, I don't.
This one, this kind of has had some clarification to it. There was a convention, like literally in the last couple of weeks, and someone from, I don't know if it was Feige directly or it was one of his underlings that was there, and the question was asked about costumes for the X-Men characters that have been and the kind of answer that was given was, I thought we had a whole series with official X-Men costumes, which kind of gives the hint that yes, the X-Men '97 costumes are our official MCU costumes.
Well, if that's the case, we both know that that's actually a good idea, though.
Yeah, I mean, but the Wolverine's costume got massive approval all over the shop. And the scene you got with Beast his lab outfit.
Well, it's also, to be honest, because the reason Wolverine is in Logan doesn't have the armless part of his costume is literally because Hugh Jackman's skin.
Yeah, we all knew this, and to be fair, partway through, you can tell when they were filming inside, outside, and other than that, but for the most part, you don't really notice. And it's actually still almost. I mean, there are versions of that costume with the sleeves, so it's not like it's a major take.
No.
But even then, it's still pretty. Comic book accurate is such a weird term, in as well, because not even amongst the same artist, the costume will deviate slightly. Every now and again, just depending on what they want to draw. Yes, they have their blueprint that they have to follow. But even if Superman, it's going to be red boots, red pants, blue this, blue that. And when they do a change, it's a change for a while. But for 9 times out of 10, it's always going to be a bit of like the colours going to be slightly different one week to another sort of thing. There's going to be 3 lines instead of 4, 4 lines instead of 5, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean that I won't sweat, but literally giving him a blue and gold costume, in any variety for Wolverine is going to be fantastic. With Jean, it's going to be interesting to see what we get.
If we do get Famke, I will really be happy. I actually want I forget her name back. Anna Paquin. I do actually want her back.
Anna Paquin.
I want her back because I actually want to see what happens if we get a Rogue back.
That'd be very interesting. I don't think that would give her. I don't think she'd want to wear a comic book accurate costume anymore. Yeah.
Oh no, because she's not as young as she was back then. But
yeah, no. It'd be interesting to see what we get. In all honesty, I can't wait. I would love to see. I mean, if all those characters that we had announced in that first run, and apparently there is going to be another thing and coming soon, similar to that, it would be interesting because even in the Thunderbolts, yes, they have got costumes. Other than Guardian, they're not really in majorly recognisable costume. Well, Guardian and True. So it'd be interesting to see if we are going to start going to more comic book coloured, more bombastic costumes, because that's kind of what we need. A bit of colour, a bit of bright. Now that costume we got for Spider-Man at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home was awesome. It was just a classic comic book costume.
Oh, yeah. Especially the end of the fucking film. That's the thing. The end of the
That's
film.
what I mean. That lovely, basic, flat coloured one is very nice. Oh, we've covered a few subjects. Have you got any more?
No, we've got dead. So we'll go and do what we were. Well, to wrap this up. So we're going to wrap it up in a couple of minutes. What shall we do? Is I will not interact with the game a minute. Well, let's have a look at what's coming out shortly. Then, so we are on the 8th of May at the minute, aren't we? So let's have a look at what's coming out. Let's look what's coming out next week, shall we? We have apparently tomorrow we have Little Kitty Big City apparently coming out on the 9th of May, apparently, on PlayStation.
That's fabulous.
We have on the 9th of May, we have apparently Operaeus DX, which I'm going to assume is a game on Opera.
Yeah.
We've got Void Sales coming out on the 14th, alongside Cubic Odyssey. But the big release for next week, I believe, is on the 15th of May, Doom, The Dark Ages.
Another Doom, okay.
Yeah,
they're going all out.
Did you not know there was a third one coming out?
I didn't know there was a third one coming out. I'm behind on that information.
So, and then 15th of May is also Aurelio, Wings of Hope. A game called Blacksmith Master.
Yep.
And then on the 19th of May is Nitro Express for the PC. And Hotel Architect is on the 20th for PC. And that's... Oh yeah, we won't be back for a while, will we?
Well, we'll see. I might be able to try and get a short one in some point. But yes, I am away to America for a couple of weeks to see the lovely sights.
Well, apparently a game I've been waiting for quite a while comes out on the 3rd of June this year. We've skipped quite ahead, so that's quite neat. But yeah, the 20th of May, we've also got another game called Roadcraft. And then Jom comes out on the 20th. JDM Japanese Drift Master comes out on the 21st. Deliver at All Costs on the 21st. On 22nd.
Sounds like a racing.
Power Sync on the 22nd. And then a Mobile Suit Gundam C Battle Destiny Remastered comes out for, I believe, for the Switch and for PC on the 22nd of May.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the Gundam thing. I saw a meme video recently, and it broke me with the Gundam shit.
And then the 23rd is a monitor giveaway on Opera GX for a monitor. Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny comes out on the 23rd of May, apparently, for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. Astrumis Survive Together comes out for PC on the 26th of May. 28th of May is The Crystals of Atlan. I'm not entirely sure what this is. Looks like a JRPG.
Okay.
But another big release that people probably be excited for that comes out on the 30th of May, the 30th of this month, is Elden Ring Night Rain.
Yeah, that's not one for me.
It's not really my kind of game anymore. I kind of went off the whole Dark Souls style games. I like relaxing now when I play games rather than obsessing over stats. I'm going to admit.
Exactly. Well, there's a lot coming out over the month.
Yeah, and then 3rd of June comes out a game called Module War that I've been after. It's a strategy game where you play as a little bug thing. We may cover that on the channel when it comes out next month.
Oh, definitely.
Now, and then we have Dune Awakening on the 10th of June, which I have lost all interest in.
I didn't even know it was coming, so I've got to have a look on that one.
It's. I thought it was like going to be a survival crafting game set in Arrakis in an alternate version of the Dune universe where Paul Atreides wasn't born, basically. So it's an alternate universe where Paul's not born and Arrakis becomes a war zone and everything. But it's an MMO.
Oh, no. Right, one sec. Give me a second to readjust.
To readjust.
Yes, I knew there was a Dune game coming out. I thought you said Doom.
No, it's a June.
I was like, I didn't know there was another Doom game. No, okay, I've had to. Yeah.
Dune Awakening.
When you said, yeah, it's when the Achilles wasn't born. I was like, what law are you reading? How far into Doom have you gotten that you know names of characters that are important to the history?
Look, there's only one character important to Doom's history, and it's the Doom guy.
Yes, Doom guy.
And the reason he's important is because someone killed his bunny rabbit, so he went on a rampage, and that is the official reason why he goes on a rampage. They killed his bunny.
All Doom guy liked to do was to listen to hardcore metal and play with his bunny, and someone killed his bunny. And during that, all hell opened up, and he has gone through every single game fighting hell demons through hell dimensions just to find a guy called Daniel Cleggan who accidentally ran over his bunny with a toaster cup. It is. It sounds stupid, but it's
actually what happened, and it's the reason it happened because people were asking for why did Doom Guy do all this shit, so it made up the stupidest fucking excuse for him to do everything that they could think of.
Yep. People should definitely read through some of the books about the two Johns. It's fun.
They were a bit crazy at the time. But
yeah,
we have a game that I didn't even realise they were making a game of it. That's coming out later this year. We're getting a second Death Stranding comes out this year in June.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got a while to come before that comes out. We can worry about that. Yeah.
We can worry about that. What we may also do is we are experimenting and trying to find new stuff to do on this podcast to add more things to that we can do. That's what we're mainly here for.
Yeah, so give some. If you've got any suggestions, just add them to the comments.
Leave them the feedback, and we will probably see you again next time.
Shortly.
Sure. Well, next time we're going to end it here today. We normally would go till 10, but Jax has a flight tomorrow, so we're going to end early.
I've got to leave my house at 4:30 in the morning. So.
Yeah, Jax needs his beauty sleep because otherwise, if he goes in public, he's going to get arrested for just public indecency.
Yeah, no one likes this when it's not had some rest.
Yeah. So